Hey there, this is Schwermetallischen. I'm sitting here with Dan Lorenzo of the band Hades, and today we're going to speak about Patriarchs in Black. Hello, Dan.
How are you? Wie geht es Ihnen? Was ist los? Ich bin Dan Lorenzo von Hades and Patriarchs in Black.
Ja, Patriarchen in Schwarz.
That's the extent of my German. No, I know a little more than that, but...
Danke sehr, mir geht es gut. Wie geht es Ihnen?
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
That's fine. So, yeah. Patriarchs in Black is it a project or is it a full-fledged band for you guys?
Well, you know, we have 6 different singers and 4 different bass players, but it's Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative and Danzig and Quiet Riot on drums, and I play guitar. As you mentioned, I was with Hades and then Nonfiction. I'm also in a band called Vessel of Light and Cassius King, but you know, Carl from COC Blind, who sings on 4.5 songs on this album, he really wants it to be a band and play live. I would love to play live, but we'd have to get literally a dozen people organized because we have, you know, kind of different singers for each song on the Patriarchs in Black Reach for the Scars album. But I mean, I'm already writing songs for the next one. I want it to be, you know, something serious. It's not just a one-off, hopefully.
Yeah, I just listened to it last night to get in the mood for a little chat and interview here, and I have to say the overall feeling is very 90s, and not in a bad way.
Okay.
It's like when most metalheads first encountered Black Label Society and bands like that with that very heavy sound, but yeah, some kind of southern feel to it, and yet still the 90s vibe, a bit of post-grunge and yeah, stuff that happened these days. The press package I got cited John with always point towards Black Sabbath. Your sound is, for me at least, it's too broad and variable to just say that's Black Sabbath. That's not enough for my understanding. So what else is inside this riff-laden beast?
Thanks. Well, I agree with you, Dennis. Like, it's more than just Black Sabbath for sure. So I grew up on Kiss and Aerosmith, and then I got into AC/DC, Highway to Hell, and then Judas Priest, and then Exodus, Bonded by Blood. But I really feel like after Hades broke up in 1989, I really found my sound when I started Nonfiction, you know? Everything I wanted to do, I wanted Hades, or, you know, everything I wanted was like, I wanted to put more emphasis on the riff, maybe play a little slower, tune down, and I couldn't get the guys in Hades to tune down much. So when I started Nonfiction, to me, that was really just, you know, I haven't changed my style that much since then. So Johnny, yes, said all roads lead to Black Sabbath, and I understand what he said by that, but I really didn't, you know, discover Black Sabbath until maybe after Hades broke up in 1989. I fell in love with Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, but what you said, it's not just Black Sabbath. I mean, I love Black Sabbath's riffs, but I'm straight, man. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, so I don't need to hear a 9-minute song. I don't like, you know, long guitar solos. I mean, it's just not where I'm at. I like Black Sabbath style riffs and with Ramones length songs, you know, like 3 minutes, 3:20, which is what I grew up on with AC/DC and Cheap Trick and Kiss and Aerosmith. Songs were, you know, 3.5 minutes long. You didn't really venture into the 5 and 6 minute territory. So yes, I agree with you that it's more than just Black Sabbath, but I guess you have to say Black Sabbath or the Godfathers of Doom or whatever kind of music I'm playing.
Yeah, I think there is some doom inside your sound. You got a pretty, I would say, you know, most bands have to play together for a few years and release a few records in order to really pinpoint where they are sound-wise. And I got the feeling you guys are not 15 anymore, and that shows in the music, because I think you already know where you stand with your sound and where you want to go.
I would agree with that. Yeah, and but you know, I also love taking some adventures, and I love picking up an acoustic every now and then, or you know, I've written songs on the bass. So yeah, there's some diversity within the genre of whatever it is I'm playing, whether it's doom or stoner rock, which is again funny because I don't even smoke weed. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think I know what we want to do. I know what we don't want to sound like. I know that much for sure.
That is worth a lot if you know what you don't want to sound like.
Yeah.
So, what were you searching for in a vocalist to get the sound you needed for most of the songs?
Well, I would say just somebody who's not corny. I mean, there's a certain vocalist style from the 80s that I'm just not super enamored with anymore. And I gave the first song, Demon of Regret, to Carl, which it wasn't called Demon of Regret at the time. Carl wrote the lyrics and the melody. And while we were waiting for Carl, Johnny and I had a phone conversation, and I had thought about it the night before, and then Johnny mentioned it the very next morning, like, why don't we have different singers? So I said, all right, I know this guy and this guy. I know Rob from Blackwater Rising. I love John Costco. I've worked with him previously. And Johnny's like, cool, yeah, I know this guy Dewey Bragg. He's a great singer from Kill Devil Hill. So we had just a bunch of singers. We said, you know, Johnny's like, look, we're not going to make a fortune doing this record. Let's have it be fun. Let's have it be a record that we love. And, you know, it's a record that I'm going to want to listen to 10 years from now for sure. So we were just looking for guys who would be into it and who we respected, I guess.
That makes sense. One of our faves has to be Submission Bell. The track feels like something born in the 90s. What is the story behind this?
No real story. I mean, I remember writing it upstairs in my loft. The very opening riff was an older riff I had on I have like this recording unit with hundreds and hundreds of riffs and song ideas. And I wrote a new riff upstairs in my loft, you know, back in the winter time. And I needed the opening riff to pull everything together. But we sent it to Rob Trainer from a band called Blackwater Rising. It's one of the few local bands I really, really love. And Rob is a great singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great. And you know, it's so funny when I played like a track for one of my friends, like they'll hear Demon of Regret. They're like, oh, this guy should sing every song. You should start a band with him. And then I play him the song, The Submission Bell. And, you know, Rob's like, man, we should start a band together, you and I. And then my friends like, they listen to that. I'm like, oh, yeah, you should start a band with him. So maybe instead of starting 10 different more bands, we'll just call it Patriarchs in Black and have a bunch of different singers.
Yeah, but my feeling was the same. It was like, yeah, okay. Every song tells its own story sound-wise, and I got an idea where you come from, what you were searching for in the vocals, because there's almost no one that is just a clean singing dude with long blonde hair and maybe a bit of painted fingernails and stuff like that, and naked, half naked on stage. If you listen to it, you don't get that pictures in your head. It's all, yeah, it's all, yeah, okay, that dude smoked a cigarette in his life, definitely.
Yeah, maybe cigarettes and a little bit more than that, probably, right?
Yeah. A bit of whiskey, a bit of cigars here and there. But with Submission, it was really like I got that feeling of Velvet Revolver a bit.
Really?
Yeah,
see, that song. I think that song is a real Black Sabbath style song. Maybe even early Danzig. But I would not have thought of Velvet Revolver. But that's cool.
Yeah, because the vocals are pretty different.
Okay.
It's got that. I don't know the word in English. It's like there's a bit of sexiness in some moments on that track, because he's kind of whispering, and there's a bit of passion displaying in the kind he's singing, and it's not like the songs before. They are a bit more rough, and it's like, in your mind you see a grown man with a beard and maybe tattoos, and he's riding a motorcycle and stuff like that. And this dude I googled the band and it was just like Google said, yeah, it's pop rock, it's like that, and I thought, oh, and then I played that song and I thought, okay, but that's great. They're really sounding great. Um, you said you like a little adventure in your music, and that's what the next question is about. Hate Your Life is, at least when it comes to vocals, something else. What made you choose Dan for this rather punk-influenced, kind of Rage Against the Machine feeling song?
Well, the first two riffs in that song I actually wrote. That's the oldest song on the album, the oldest riffs on the album. They're from 1994 when Dan Anastasia and I were actually writing a record together after Nonfiction broke up. Dan Anastasia was the original singer for Nonfiction, and when he put out his Anastasia solo album, before he did that actually, we were recording an album called Number 9 before this guy named Gunther put a stop to it and got Danny to do a solo record. So Danny and I literally recorded an album together that was just so heavy, with Mike Christie on drums, the drummer from Nonfiction, and nobody's ever heard it. There's one song on my website called The Story Goes. It's not mixed, but it's a killer track. And I wanted to do one song from back then with Dan Anastasia, and the last song, the last riff in the song is brand new. But it just felt like something like, it was something I always wanted to do. Danny and I wrote a lot of great songs together that the world hasn't ever heard. And Danny forgot them all, actually, believe it or not. But it's just something I wanted to do. And yeah, obviously, he's the most different type of singer. Johnny Kelly was like, I don't know about that one. But there's certain people who are going to love it. But it's just something that needed to be done, in my opinion, to have him sing one track.
Yeah, to be totally honest, a few years ago, I would have skipped that song because I'm not a fan of punk music itself, and this track has a punk attitude. That's clear, so nothing else. But I grew into just listening first and then forming an opinion like, yeah, okay, this guy is not the same kind of vocalist than for the rest of the album, and also the guy that did the Kashmir cover, he's even more refined and has a multi-octave voice. Yeah. So there's a really great mix of vocals on that album. It's like the Probot album, a bit like that.
Yeah,
where you thought like, yeah, there's some song for everyone. Every metalhead will find something to like on that record, and I think that will be a strong selling point for Patriarchs in Black.
I agree. Thank you.
And aside from Led Zeppelin being a kick-ass band, what made you do a Led Zeppelin cover?
Well, so Jimmy Neko, I jammed with him in 1994. It was totally spontaneously, and we did Stairway to Heaven, and I kind of butchered it. I wasn't prepared for it. And then Jimmy went on stage with Slash and Duff from Guns N' Roses. He was singing for STP for a little bit. He's like a local legend. He doesn't really like heavy music like what we play, but he appreciates it. You know, he has his own project. He tours the world headlining with his band Hours. And basically, Johnny Kelly, Led Zeppelin's his favorite band. And we recorded an Immigrant Song in the Ocean. And I guess Jimmy Neko didn't know about the Immigrant Song. He's like, The Ocean's one of the few Led Zeppelin songs I don't love. So I said to Johnny, I always wanted to record Kashmir. And Johnny's like, I'm up for Kashmir. And Jimmy Neko said, I'd love to record Kashmir with you guys. So it was one of the last things we did for the record. I think it was the last song we did. And just really happy with the way it came out. And now, like I mentioned, Immigrant Song, it's not on the record, but Jimmy Neko might end up singing that for us as well in the next couple of weeks. We're already working on new stuff. So basically it's just, we love Led Zeppelin and we love Kiss. We love old Aerosmith. We love Black Sabbath. So just something for fun. And when I looked online, I saw no bands really recorded Kashmir. They've done it live with like big orchestras. Like I saw Alice in Chains did it with a big orchestra. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we could replicate Cadman with just 4 guys? And that's what we did.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass song, and yeah, imagining someone covers the Immigrant song that is just wild, because that shit is tough to sing.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy can do it. And if the recording's sitting there, it's Eric J. Morgan on bass, Johnny Kelly on drums, and myself on guitars. And we slammed it. And I just sent it to Jimmy Neko yesterday. He's like, "Oh my God, this is perfect." He's like, "I'll kill this." So he's mixing some songs right now, but he'll probably sing it within the next month or so, hopefully.
To be totally honest, yesterday was the first time I heard of Jimmy Neko.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, yeah, he's sounding great, and I googled him, and it was like, yeah, okay, he's been around with his band hours for like 1994. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, that's embarrassing on my on my end.
Well, he's not a metal guy, so that's another cool thing is, Jimmy should be famous. Jimmy is kind of famous. Like the female singer Lana Del Rey, she actually wrote a song called Jimmy Neko. So it's not our world, but I mean he's big. Like he's worked with Rick Rubin, he's been on stage with Guns N' Roses. I mean he's done big stuff. It's just that he's not known in the metal world.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of rock music for like 20 years, and did the transition to into heavy metal, and even then I didn't catch hours. It's like, hey, they're great,
Sure.
and they've been around for like ages. What the fuck?
Well, that's because it's a different scene of music. So that's another thing I was hoping to do with this album is turn people like you onto these great singers who maybe you weren't familiar with in their other bands,
Mission accomplished, dude.
Awesome.
That's for sure. Um, yeah, most musicians don't properly answer to that question, but can you give me a wild story that happened on tour in your life?
A wild story. Well, I'm happily married for 25 years. So all my wild stories involve women, but I'm too happily married to discuss them on camera, but or anywhere actually. Wild story. I just remember one time when Nonfiction was on a ferry from, I believe it was Belgium to London, 1993, and my drummer Mike Christie was looking over the boat in his sweatpants, and there was a bunch of kids traveling up on the boat, and they were out overlooking. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember yanking Mike Christie's sweatpants down, so his naked white ass was there for everybody on the boat to see, and we still get a chuckle about that. Now you'd probably go to jail for that, right? The way the world has changed.
Yeah, surely. Both of you.
Yeah, exactly.
You did it. Yeah, I remember a story I once read about the power metal, or the sleaze metal phase of Pantera, where Phil told the audience or the interviewer that he once shat himself on stage with a white pants. That's, yeah. It was like, I don't know the word in English. It's like when you when you poo is liquid. And he thought he's just gonna fart,
Diarrhea.
and he was not that lucky. So that is a white story, not involving any women. That is okay. Or setting things on fire.
No, I never did that.
Yeah, you're not smoking, so people that smoke set things on fire on a daily basis. I'm trying to stop smoking at the moment. It's
You gotta stop.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's no problem, but we will talk in a few days.
Okay. Good luck with it.
Yeah, I managed to do that once after I visited. It's like oh fuck, um, it's named Körperwelten. I don't know if that was in the States somewhere, sometime the last 20 or 30 years. It's like there's a guy from the Netherlands that just strips dead people of their skin and displays them.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, here you got the organs, and it's all very artsy in a kind
Gross.
of way. Very gross, yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a lung on display from someone that died of lung cancer, and it was like, yeah, okay. When I saw that, I stopped smoking for I think a few years. Even.
Good. Stop again, my man.
Yeah, I'm trying. So you said you already got new material in the work for the next output of Patriarchs in Black. That's great to hear. Do you have the same mindset like with the first output, or is it like you want just one or
Nah.
fewer singers and
Probably the same thing, I would imagine. If I'm lucky enough to get Johnny to do this again, I'd definitely like to have a bunch of different singers.
yeah, that's thrilling. That's a thrilling concept for me to because it's like you hear um, it's been a long while since I've done interviews. It's just because you get the notion that you have a different band on every song, because the vocalist is very much the face of the song, mostly, and if you change the bass man and you change the vocalist, you change the perception of the song material for me. So that's always a great concept to do these kind of things. Some journalists really don't like that because it's okay, it's another super band. It's very tiring for some people, but for me it's always I want to know, is this really the super band? And in parts I really think this is I just listened to it once last night. I was tired, but there are a few songs I really think that will still grow on me. The only song that really got me by the balls at the first listening was Submission Bell.
All right, well, you listen to it again.
I will. And I will have to listen to Hate Your Life again. It really did remind me of Rage Against the Machine a bit, because it was
awesome.
It was metal, definitely, but there was that punk attitude, that attitude to question the authorities. That was what I was feeling listening to that. So that is interesting for me. Yeah.
Cool, brother. Well, thank you so much for this.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't have any questions left.
That's okay. I got to get back to work, my man.
Yeah.
Listen to it again for me, all right? And stay in touch. Send me an email after you listen to it a couple times. I want to hear more opinions, okay?
I will do. Thank
you so much, Dennis.
You're very welcome. Have a nice day.
Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye.
Bye.